basically what I tried to do in the book is look at, everyone has different test results. Everyone has different factors that make them unique. And yet we all have 5 underlying systems that when they're in balance, we're more likely to heal. And those 5 systems lend themselves incredibly well to oils. So sleep is one of them. Making sure that your nervous system, everyone knows that stress kind of, basically when your body is in stress, it allocates resources differently. So it allocates resources towards survival. So certain neurotransmitters and hormones are released that are really good for survival in the immediate moment, empowering you to fight or flight or flee. But they're not great for long-term healing and especially for detoxification. Right. And what's really hard, the conundrum that I see most people facing is they know they're in stress. They can feel their stress. And someone says to them, oh, you're just stressing too much. And that almost feels more challenging. Like, what are you supposed to do? Go to yoga? You still have to come home and clean the house and do your job and keep your kids happy. It's not like your external circumstances change. So what I realized is your external circumstances will not change, but you can change your response. We've all had that moment when someone cuts us off in traffic and we're okay with it. They might be in a hurry. We don't get upset. We're good. The next day, the exact same situation, 4-letter words might be flying out of our mouth. The only variable in that situation is us and our resilience in that moment. And we have control over that. We have control over how we engage our nervous system, whether we flip into the fight or flight stress response or the rest and digest parasympathetic response. And that gear shift, that control lies in the longest nerve in the body that most people have never heard of. It's your vagus nerve. It's cranial nerve number 10, super quick anatomy lesson. Connects the brain to the body and the body to the brain, starts at the base of the brain, splits, winds around both sides, and is most accessible behind the earlobe. It then innervates every organ of digestion and detoxification. It is the gear shift. It is what shifts you out of stress into calm. And it does that by activating it. So it innervates the lungs. Deep breathing activates it. It innervates the gallbladder. Coffee enema activates it. The throat and the mouth. Tatis Karazian talks about gagging yourself with a tongue depressor or splashing your face with freezing water. Very low compliance. There was a researcher, actually right in 2012 when I started my company, who found that you can use kind of an electric stimulus, a little bit like a pacemaker-like device, stimulate the vagus nerve right there, and it basically shifts you into parasympathetic. Guess what? You can use stimulatory oils, clove and lime, very stimulatory, smallest amount. This is one of the best hacks. Your kids are still melting down. Your house is still a mess. Your husband's still grumpy and losing his keys. None of that changes, but you have the resilience that you're like, what do you need? And it's always anyone whose family is like kind of going nuts. The minute when you're fighting it, I'm going to be late. I can't do this now. It keeps blowing up. The minute you're like, how can I help you? Yes. All they need is like 2 minutes. It's like, okay, here are your keys. Here's your snack. You're good.